So the full moon this time around is a moon in Pisces, so I went looking for some water. And this happens to be a bit of a swampy area that's on a path. And these boards are here, I think, to help the bicycles get across, but they're not great. Yeah, they're not great for what they've been laid out to do. I don't know who did it. They just sort of appear here. You can see the old boards in a layer underneath. So this is, over here you'll get some more swampy bits. And over there, though, you can't really see it. So, okay. Oh, wow. Did you just see that bubble? Whenever I see bubbles, they look like eyeballs the water made. So my first piece of action is to just calm down and be here for a bit and just see what happens. I think there's little insects that are making little bits of ripples. So yeah, otherwise this is fairly still, although, we get a bit closer and there's like bubbles of foam, old dead leaves. I don't know why that part's shiny and oily. Sun coming out a bit, adding some silver reflection. There's some algae, I guess, growing. And you can see the water isn't very deep, and some of this is damp and some of this is not. The greens here are pretty remarkable. Shapes of the sticks, that's interesting too. Sometimes I think sticks are like writing. It's becoming very apparent that there's lots of places we could dig into. Just even the textures and the sensations of being here. I mean, we've got wet water, spaces of dryness, spaces of dampness, all kinds of shapes and textures, leaves that have gone through a life cycle, sticks that are making that's a story in and of itself. I tend to lean towards stories, but this could be inspiration for any kind of art. Here's the gravel of the trail. It's mixed in with the mud. I mean, mud itself is amazing. Structure, this vivid green of this algae that's growing here, and the muckiness of the water, the reflectiveness of the water. Water is a mirror. So already just diving into, those are many, I call them shiny spots, that could catch my attention for further creative exploration. Just any one of those things might launch me into a poem or lyric or art piece. But also, let's think about this as the space that it is, which is a bridge that doesn't work well. So there's some symbolism that you could dive into. Building a bridge that is kind of not, how does this bridge feel if it was meant for a particular purpose, and is it doing what it intended? So I like diving into the personality of things and seeing their point of view. So we have this water as a mirror. What's its point of view as time goes by? What's the point of view of this somewhat haphazardly thrown together bridge for bikes, I guess, or path or people on this trail? What's the perspective of the grass that is hanging? What's the perspective also? I like to do time travel. So this wasn't always here. What was here before it became a path? This was a watershed, is a watershed. It's been kind of terraformed by humans. Will it remain so? Time travel into the past, time travel into the future is something you could do, creatively speaking. Also, when looking, again, being very intrigued by the reflective capacity of a puddle, which again gives us the sense of dimension. I'm looking at this space, but there's like a side to the space, and also a sky, and a tree, and a sunball. So I'm looking here, but there's a lot of other places all around me which have perspectives and timelines. and purposes and intentions that could also be points of creative launch points. So I've been focusing on the sights that are here and what is visually perhaps provoking, but there's also sound, so I'm not sure how much they are coming through. It's very subtle, there's no wind, it's very still. Another time of day and evening time, what might shift, so again, some time travel, but I was trying to get into the sound, so very subtly, there's a road and cars passing on the road, which leads me to wonder, they are unaware of this place. What would happen if you were driving by and you suddenly had a sensation of this particular spot? What would it be saying, and how might that alter your trajectory, perhaps? So something else I like to do creatively is imagine crisscrossing, I guess, cross-hatching perhaps, like think where lines crisscross. So this crisscrosses with a person, this crisscrosses with an animal. All of these plant life beings are crisscrossing. Like, there's just so many points where something can happen because they crisscross. So even like this is meant to be a bike lane, so bikes that come by. Who's riding the bike? Where are they going? Speaking of bikes, I can hear some. Hang on. I'm not sure if you can hear that now. There's a sound tires make on gravel. I just wanted to be sure they weren't using this particular path. Yeah, so the sounds, the sensations. This is a muggy day in early September. So again, flashing forward to wintertime, seasonal shifts. I'm in the northern hemisphere, would obviously be different in another place on the planet. But then also just kind of pinpointing where I am on the planet. When you start thinking broadly about where you are in time and space just expanding outward, faster and faster, or you could also go deeply inward. Like I am very drawn to, oh, there's some bees making sounds. Very drawn to these foam bubbles. And just thinking of the small, tiny things that could be calling this place home. Anyways, those are some ideas from this particular place. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. That is a bee buzzing around and I'm getting its shadow. Oh, the life of shadows and reflections is also a very intriguing place to perhaps explore creatively. What's going on? There's the shadows of some of the plants. What's going on? Or the reflections, I should say. There's the sun showing up between the boards. Also wanting to say I went on the other side, and that has also altered what is being reflected. There's an incredibly more mature tree showcased here. The negative space between the tree branches, and I don't know what that was, it just made all those ripplings. There it is again, and we got ourselves a bubble. Oh, a couple bubbles, fantastic. Yeah, what is making this vibration happen? Right? And then look at this kind of like confusion of overlapping. That is almost like trying to figure out where that, it's like the leaf imprint there. The lives of the trees and the vegetation. And also the submergedness of things. I just noticed there was a very orange submerged plant or leaf. So even that is a theme, submerged. Okay, so I think I've shown. Go to a place, sit with it for a bit, see what shows up. That just riff. Try out textures, sounds, colors, shapes. Engage with the space and a sense of time. Lots that can be done. Creative abundance.